Then we go into executive with this.
So what we'll do is we'll just kick everybody out of the board,
Okay,
and we'll just stay on here.
okay. Boy, I'm sure tired of all this COVID crap.
Okay, we're live. We're live now.
Okay,
Oh,
Here we
excuse
go.
me. So, Chris, do you want me to log off and text me when you want me to come back on?
Yeah, we're having technical issues, but it should go pretty quick unless you have to get back on the other one.
No, I'm fine. I didn't want to stay on if you guys are going executive.
Oh, that'll be at the end if we do it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Gotcha.
Yeah, no worries. We're just trying to
Okay.
get Terry logged in.
Okay.
You're looking down into the camera.
Yeah, he is.
Can he get a box?
Come on, Terry.
growing quite a beard there, Kevin.
I am. It's just
Yeah.
COVID, right?
Yeah. Okay, are we ready?
You can go ahead and go.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started, you guys. So let's
You can get logged in.
say the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mayor Palguda, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I certainly will.
But I don't even know if like
All right, everyone, we ready? I
Yeah.
pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
of America,
and to the
And to
republic,
the republic
Republic
for which it
which
stands,
which it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God, indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty and justice for all.
All right,
Terry is doing his best to get.
so Terry's trying to come in. We'll go ahead and get started, and Allison, can you do the roll call?
Sure. Madam Chair Orr,
Here.
Vice Chair Nolan trying to log on. Secretary Treasurer Palguda,
present.
Member Brown,
Here.
Member Best,
Here,
Member Stump is absent, but we do have a quorum.
Okay. You want to do the procedure about Title VI?
Yeah, but can I have my agenda back?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Title VI policy and meeting procedures. So CYMPO does comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and strives to not discriminate against anybody. Members of the public may also review our Title VI plan and can submit a self-identification survey from the CYMPO website, or you can call us and we can provide one for you. Just a reminder for everybody on the meeting, please make sure you're on mute until you're ready to speak, and then voting will be by roll call vote. Meeting is now live streaming on YouTube live, and if anybody wants to go back and watch it again, it's on our YouTube page.
Okay, so I think we'll come back to the executive session.
Yeah, so I'll just explain that real quick. We stole some language from the State Transportation Board that gives you flexibility on any agenda item should you want to do that. We didn't want to ever put anything down as for sure it's an executive session if you chose not to. This just gives you the flexibility and is really intended for the filling of the position
Right.
on a later agenda item. So that's
Okay.
what that's for.
Okay, so the call to the public. Do we have anybody from the public?
We have no public comment.
All right. It's going well. Consideration and possible action to approve the executive minutes, special meeting. So can I have a motion to approve those minutes? Here's Terry.
Hello, can anybody hear me?
yes,
Okay, hey, guess
Good.
what? I can hear you guys
Awesome.
now.
Okay, good.
Looking good, Mayor.
Hi, thank you. I'm
Okay, I need
sorry.
a motion to approve the special executive minutes. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October 14th executive session
Thank
meeting
you.
minutes.
I'll second it.
Mike, and have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mayor Palguda, second. So vote please. I guess we have to do this by roll call. Go ahead, Allison.
Madam Chair Orr,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nolan,
Yes,
Secretary Treasurer Palguda,
Yes.
Member Brown,
Yes.
Member Best.
Yes,
5 in favor, the motion passes.
Very good. Thank you, Allison. So now we'll go to agency updates. So
Yeah.
Chris,
So we just have a couple for you here. Daniel, could you give updates on the two projects you're working on right now, please?
Sure. Thanks, Chris. The two projects I'm working on right now are the 169 alternative selection report looking at a roundabout. Currently, we're waiting for draft final report. Should have that late this week or early next week. And the other project is the 89A Robert Road TI. Just finishing up some final alternatives, and then that will also be going to a draft final report. And both the projects should be wrapped up by early December.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any comments or
Daniel?
questions?
I'm sorry. Daniel, the 169 roundabout is, they'll be done just with the plans and everything, but they won't be starting construction, correct?
Correct, just the plan.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's good. Thank you, Terry. Anyone else? Any questions?
Okay, and I've got one more. The State Route 69 in Glassford Hill and Willow Creek Road Adaptive Signal Project. That is kicked off. Right now, the consultant is working with the city, the town, and the county and ADOT to gather as much information as possible about what's the situation for each location, what's technology that's out there now to be able to help evaluate what's going down, going to happen down the road. No pun intended.
Yeah.
So that is just getting kicked off. It's about a 17-month schedule, and it's going well so far, but we're 1 month in, so.
Okay.
Or you are.
There we are. Which brings up, well, let's go ahead and do our recognition of service.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mayor Nolan,
Yes, ma'am.
we have a proclamation for you.
Oh, you do?
We do.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Name on it. And thanks to COVID, we're gonna mail it to you.
Okay.
But this is a present to the board, a resolution of the Central Yavapai Metropolitan Planning Organization in recognition of dedicated service by Executive Board Member Mayor Terry Nolan. So whereas the above matter came before the Central Yavapai MPO to recognize the years of service to CYMPO of Dewey Humboldt Mayor Terry Nolan. Mayor Nolan served on the CYMPO Executive Board from 2013 to 2015 and again from 2017 to 2020. Whereas Mayor Nolan joined CYMPO staff in attending the 2019 Distracted Driving Summit, and whereas Mayor Nolan served as the CYMPO Rural Transportation Advocacy Council representative or alternate since 2017, and whereas Mayor Nolan advocated on behalf of the CYMPO region for multiple road projects, including State Route 89, State Route 69, and even Interstate 17. Whereas Mayor Nolan supported the implementation of a regional transportation plan, and now therefore be it resolved that the Central Yavapai Metropolitan Planning Organization formally recognizes and extends sincere gratitude for Mayor Terry Nolan's years of dedicated service to CYMPO.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we know who this is?
Congratulations.
Yeah. Hey,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
I'm sorry we're having to do this by Zoom, but
Hey, that's the only way we can do it.
once we can all get together, we'll all get together.
Okay.
And then we have Councilman Best.
Similarly, resolution of CYMPO, I'm just going to say that now.
Sure.
In recognition of dedicated service by Executive Board Member, Councilmember Mike Best. Whereas the matter above became before CYMPO to recognize the years of service to CYMPO of Chino Valley Councilmember Mike Best. Whereas Councilmember Best served on the CYMPO Executive Board from 2016 to 2020. And whereas Councilmember Best supported CYMPO's anti-distracted driving campaign. Whereas Councilmember Best also advocated on behalf of the CYMPO region for multiple road projects, including 89, 69, and Interstate 17. Whereas Councilmember Best supported the implementation of a regional transportation plan in coordination with Yavapai Regional Transit. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the CYMPO formally recognizes and sincere gratitude for Councilmember Best's years of dedicated service to CYMPO. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Hey, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate working with you guys. It's been a good
Well,
thing.
we're gonna miss you, Mike. We're gonna miss you, Mayor.
Well, I'm gonna miss you guys.
Well, you'll just have to come be our public participation when we're able to do it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really want me to come and complain about stuff?
Absolutely.
We go and harass Terry. Nobody can do
Working
anything
on it for
about it.
7 years, still not done.
Something other than roads.
Yeah.
They're gonna
I'm sorry.
complain. They're gonna call up and complain. It's gotta be against something about other than roads.
Oh, there you go.
Proper roads.
That's good. So let's have Kevin go ahead and do an update for us.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members. And again, Terry, thank you for your service on RTAC. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so with the legislative report, obviously, I think the transportation agenda for next year is heavily related to the outcome of November 3rd and the transitions that are occurring. So just to sort of give you an update on where all that lies, you know, the White House, I imagine all of you are covering that pretty closely and know where that is right now. But there's also news with the U.S. House and U.S. Senate races. And the Senate was the one that I think the situation that we are in right now is one that I don't think anybody could have anticipated. Prior to the election, the Republicans held a 53 to 47 seat advantage. There was a lot of anticipation that Democrats could in fact flip the chamber. As it stands right now, the Democrats picked up 1 seat. So it is currently 48-50 in favor of the Republicans. Here's where things get really complicated. In Georgia, the law for the Senate elections is you need to receive a majority of the votes cast rather than being the leading vote getter to win that election. However, because of an early retirement with Senator Isaacson for health reasons last year, Georgia actually had 2 Senate seats that were up for election, and neither one of them had an outcome where the leading vote getter had a majority of the votes. So they are both headed to a runoff election, and that runoff will not occur until January 5th. So we are basically going to be in about 2 months of limbo as far as who will be in control of the Senate. Now, in order for the Senate to flip, the Democrats will have to win both of those seats, which would bring it to a 50-50 split, and the vice president being the tie-breaking vote. So basically, the margins couldn't be any narrower, which is going to be a challenge. And I think that part was anticipated, that we weren't going to get close to the 60 seats for either party that essentially enables things to move through the Senate. But it's still the slimmest of margins regardless. And again, this is going to be in limbo for a couple of months. Over on the House side, going into the election, the Democrats had a 22-seat advantage. It was highly anticipated that they were going to add to that margin. And in fact, the opposite occurred. Rather than picking up an estimated 10 seats, as of today, Republicans have picked up 9, and there's still about 12 races that haven't been called yet. It's anticipated that Republicans could pick up another 4 or 5. So that has 2 major impacts. First off, the House majority, even though the Democrats aren't at risk of losing the majority this year, that margin will be so narrow that their caucus will have very few votes to spare when it comes to passing legislation through the House. Speaker Pelosi may have no more than a margin of 4 to work with. And then secondly, that also, what wasn't anticipated before, but what is now going to be the reality in 2 years, is that when the 2022 election comes up, the Democrats are only going to have a single-digit advantage, which is a number that, obviously depending on everything else that goes on leading to the election will factor into this. But there will be a very obtainable number of seats that Republicans will need to flip the House to a Republican majority in 2 years. And so, that's the key there. Basically, I think everyone knows Mark Kelly defeated Martha McSally. Interestingly, this is I think the third time that there's been somebody appointed or elected to fill out the remaining term of Senator McCain. What's significant there is that, so basically, Senator-elect Kelly, his seat, he just won election for 2 years.
Right.
Because Senator McCain's, term was set to go through 2022. So Senator-elect Kelly will be up for re-election in 2 years for that seat. Flipping over, and of course, on the House side, all of the incumbents won in Arizona. So for the state legislature, there was also a lot of talk about there being significant change and the Democrats being able to basically flip one, if not both chambers. We were dealing with very narrow margins. Prior to the election, Republicans controlled the House 31-29. And going into next year, they will continue to control the House 31-29. Over on the Senate side, that advantage was 17-13 for Republicans. The Democrats were able to pick up one seat. So that has now been reduced to 16-14. So out of 90 legislative seats, we had one partisan change, one seat change. But with that, so Republicans will retain control of both chambers, but with the narrowest of margins, 31-29 and 16-14.
So Kevin, was that the change, Kate Brophy McGee,
Yes.
who helped us so much on the distracted driving?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And that was actually at one point on election night, I want to say about 3 a.m, the way the leads were in the races, the Democrats did have control of both chambers. And I want to say about 4 a.m, 2 of those races flipped in both chambers. And from that point forward, it stayed fair. It was stable. And the only other change was that the Brophy McGee race switched a couple days later and stayed.
Yes.
Very close races, very close partisan split. There was also talk about leadership fights, but in the end, the current speaker, Rusty Bowers, the current president, Karen Fann, were both elected to continue on in leadership. With the Democrats, there was a hotly contested leadership race with minority leadership. Charlene Fernandez, who had been the minority leader for several years, opted not to run again. She threw her support behind Reginald Boulding from Phoenix, and he was successful in becoming the minority leader. And then over in the Senate, the previous leader was David Bradley, who did not run for re-election. So Rebecca Rios will be the minority leader in the Senate. So not a lot of change there. However, where we are going to see significant change is with the transportation committees. Now we fully well knew, as all of you know, up in the CYMPO region, that Noel Campbell was not running for re-election, and there would be a change on the House side. And in fact, Frank Carroll was appointed the chairman a couple of days ago. He served, most of his work was on the Education Committee last year. He did not serve on the Transportation Committee, so he's coming in sort of cold to this committee. And then we have a similar situation on the Senate side. David Livingston, who was the transportation chair last year, was reelected, but he was appointed finance committee chair. And so Tyler Pace, who was just reelected to start his second term, received that committee appointment. So neither one of them were overly involved in transportation legislation last year. So a little difficult to anticipate. I think it's clear that from what I do know, that they are not going to be advocates to the degree that the previous chairs were, particularly Noel Campbell. I think we're probably going to have to bank on Rusty Bowers and Karen Fan a lot. Fortunately, those two leaders continue to express their support from transportation. But I suspect those two committees are going to be a little bit more challenging than what we've encountered in the past. But I think as far as the legislative agenda for next year is concerned, much of that is heavily tied into the pandemic and the impacts of the pandemic on the economy. And then subsequently, what impact does the economy have on the state budget? And the health of the state budget is going to be huge as far as what the challenges and opportunities are for transportation and what's politically viable. So I think that's something that we got to figure that out pretty quick, but it remains to be seen how all of that will play out. The one other big issue when it comes to the budget for next year is that highway safety fee does repeal on June 30th, which means that there will be a 161 million funding hole created in the highway patrol budget. And so very good possibility we're going to go right back to fighting over whether the general fund or HERF pays for highway patrol next year. And of course, the health of the state budget will be a factor in that fight. So be incredibly important. So, and then just real quickly back to the federal, we are still, there's a lot of anticipation that another relief bill will pass this calendar year. Senate Majority Leader McConnell indicated the day after the election that he wanted something done this year. So there's, I think, a widespread bipartisan agreement that more relief funding is needed. There will continue to be a debate over what that funding level is and what the areas of emphasis are, sort of what you target with that funding. But there's that consensus that it is there. So hopefully that will be something that will be resolved relatively quickly as the safety net that's been previously enacted for the most part has been pulled away, with much of that funding either expiring or exhausted. December 11th is a big date. That's when the continuing resolution that funds the federal government is set to expire. As it stands right now, it looks like they're probably going to do another continuing resolution and basically push that out to about that March, April timeframe. And then the last issue is transportation reauthorization. That the current bill was extended for a year, so probably late winter, early spring, we'll start to see activity really pick up on another 5-year bill, which I think there's a lot of design on that, including additional investment levels for transportation, not only to address the backlog, but to help with the economic recovery from the pandemic. And so I think that we'll all be very active on an authorization bill next year. So that's a tremendous amount to go over, and there's still a lot up in the air, probably a lot more questions than answers from my presentation, but happy to answer any questions.
Any questions to Kevin? No?
Cross our fingers.
That's,
Yeah. Okay. Kevin, thank you.
thank you.
Big plans for Thanksgiving?
Not staying home, to keeping it easy.
I know. It's kind of what everybody's doing these days. Okay, so now I think we need to go to our item number, basically
Yeah.
about filling the position.
Mhm.
Of course, I think Kevin, that Chris has talked to all of you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead, Chris?
So I know I've been able to talk to all of you individually for the most part. Once I got to a certain point, I resorted to emails. And then I'm getting phone calls from people like Jason Kelly, who used to work at NACOG. He's been in Oregon for 3 years, and he's calling me out of the blue. And so word is spread pretty quick. But moving forward, accepted a position with Town of Gilbert, and my last day here would be December 2nd. And been working with Allison and Daniel today, kind of
Good.
making sure we're all on the right track. Everybody's up to speed. Spent some time on some projects this morning. Got things as trivial as timesheet approvals set up so that they could approve each other's timesheets while the transition's happening. So we're taking care as much as we can to get everything to where it needs to be. The 2 projects Daniel's working on are almost done. He'll take over project management of the 69 traffic signal, Glassford and Willow Creek, and moving those forward in the meantime, while you decide who you want to hire for the position. So
that's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today.
Yeah. It took a week to tell everybody.
Wow.
But anyways, I've enjoyed my time here. It's been a great experience. There will be an article in the paper, in theory, on Friday. Cindy Burks, I talked to her today. I said only good things about you guys, not anything bad. But just
better.
but in general, just talking about all the good things that we've been able to accomplish and bring to the region. The distracted driving campaign, getting 17 in the program, 69, 89, right. All those things that I'm very proud of how every CYMPO board member, the entire time, it doesn't matter who it is, they come on, and those of you that stay on or have been on longer, you work with those new folks. They come right in and just adopt the culture of CYMPO and work together for the best interests of the region. So I have to say thank you to all of you for doing that.
Well, it is an amazing organization. I will, I've been on now 5 years, and but Chris, you've just brought so much to it. I think the relationship that you have with KDOT board has really made it a positive experience for a lot of people. So it's always good to have Gary with us and have the relationships that we have all together. We went to a mayor's meeting. We missed you, Cal. And but we had a breakfast meeting last week, and it's just great to all know each other because of CYMPO and work with each other because of CYMPO. So it's a very good thing. So so now we have to discuss what we're going to do going forward.
Before you go into the discussion, could I interrupt for a moment?
Sure.
Did we get Chris to make up one of those nice papers that he made up for Mike and
for himself?
For himself. So
I think we can do that.
It's going to be really long, sir.
What we'll do is take the article in the paper on Friday,
right, and just tape it to something.
we'll do a decoupage. It has been awesome. I will tell you, I just sing your praises all the time. I know everybody does. So
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you really see it when you go to the state meetings. You see, wow, boy, do we do well because of Chris?
we do well because of everybody.
Yeah.
Kind of funny talking about, moving forward with a replacement for Chris, because we all realized it was going to happen sooner or later.
Sure.
We all expected you to go somewhere with either ADOT or the local entity somewhere and, move onward and upward. And that's not, we think enough of you that we would recommend that just for your own development and career moves. And
Right.
we're glad to see you're moving on to something that's going to make you happy and going to be close to home.
Yeah.
And, we all wish you our best. And anytime we can help you, don't hesitate to ask. We'd be glad to. So
I'm sure we'll see some transportation conferences.
Oh, of course you will. Yeah, yeah. You'll see me around. I'm essentially doing the same type of work
Yeah.
just for the town down there. And yeah, being close to my wife is definitely a huge plus.
Yeah.
There's in regards to this discussion about your replacement, though, I don't know how open we can actually be on this.
Well, I think we need to go into executive session, Chairman.
Right.
Yeah. So I would recommend if I can have a motion to go into executive session that we do that.
I don't see why not. I'd second it.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
make a motion.
Those in favor of going into
Yes.
executive session, Allison, can you take a roll call vote?
Madam Chair, this is Transportation Board Member Knight. Before you do,
Yes.
I would just like to say that I guess I'll still be able to see Chris at the Transportation Board meetings, only he'll be wearing a different hat.
Yeah.
But he's always, I don't think can think of a meeting that he missed. He's been to just about all of them. I would like to say that on the upcoming Transportation Board meeting coming up Friday, there's only one project on the agenda from Yavapai County. It's actually on there for recommendation to reject all bids because they came in over $1 million above the ADOT's predictions. So anyway, and that was I think US 93 around Wickenburg. But anyway, Yavapai County doesn't have. That's the only thing on this upcoming Transportation Board agenda that pertains to Yavapai County, and there's one other one in District 6, but it's in Mojave. So anyway, that's just an update on Friday's Transportation Board meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So I think
Then let me, since he's still on the air and we haven't gone into executive session yet, I just wanted to give everybody an update on the news from today's board meeting. But the board has ceased all operations in regards to the Verde Connect. All contracts have been put to rest. They will be paid off, and we will not be going forward with that $25 million build project.
That's a shame, but I know that's how it's going with the new supervisors coming on.
Well, it's not that. It's so much as the overall cost for the two-phase program is almost pushing $50 million. So where do we get the other 25? That's the question. And that's probably what the straw was that broke the camel's back. Nobody wants to go into any further debt, and we don't want to move forward with the amount, what we're getting for bids coming in by the contractors. So it's just too much money. Everybody's quiet.
Well, it's always bad to get bad news.
Well, it is bad news in some regards, but it puts a political issue to rest too. So
yeah.
So Chairman Brown, how much money had the county already spent on it?
about 2.5.
Okay.
That'll be how much it costs us to get out of everything.
Okay.
However, we still have all the reports, we have all the design, we have all of that. So it'll be sitting on a cupboard, but nobody's got the $50 million to do it. We've already got 3 major projects taking place, with the jail and that Justice Center, and also with Gurley Street, as well as some other road projects that are major to us. So we just don't want to go into any further debt. So
yeah, I would also like to point out that as elected officials, one thing that we can do is reach out to our congressional representatives, both representatives and senators on the federal side, and see if we can persuade them to either reduce or eliminate the matching fund requirement for the federal grants, bill grants and infra grants for the time being, with
Sure.
COVID being what it is, and the lack of matching funds available from state and local municipalities and counties. It's one thing that wouldn't cost the feds anything to reduce or eliminate those matching funds, at least through this COVID period. So I would say that whenever you have a chance to talk to our federal representatives and senators, that's one thing that we should all bring up every time we talk to them is, look, please eliminate those matching funds during this COVID period so that we can apply for the bill grants and the infra grants. ADOT, without the matching funds, ADOT's not going to be applying for as many grants as they have been. So that will reduce the available funds that we've had in the past. So
And
anyway, just like to throw that out there.
On echoing what you're saying is absolutely true. On almost every project, and we were just talking about one that was $1 million over, our engineering estimates are coming in way below what the actual bids are coming in at. And that's what happened in this we had a $25 million bill grant. Well, that wasn't going to pay for the project. And so it ended up, the first hit was 7 million on top of that for the first phase. On top of that, a loan again was another 13 to $15 million on the second phase. And you can't come up with like amounts of money, even though $25 million sounds like a lot, it really isn't.
No.
It needs to be a smaller gauge project if you're going to go for the 25 million and have it cover the 100%.
So I wonder if there's something we can do going forward as far as writing a letter from CYMPO to our congressional folks and say.
Well, it's not just them, Billy, but I agree with you. Writing Congress would be good. So you don't get 80-20 matches and things like that. But ADOT even has a problem of underestimating the cost of things, and then they don't get the bids come in higher than they anticipate, and then they have to reject them because they're too high.
Yeah.
But maybe we're not being reasonable enough. For the last 3 years, the cost of asphalt skyrocketed.
Well, and the cost of labor has skyrocketed too. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to our item number 10. If everybody's ready to talk about filling Chris's position.
Well, and I'll sign out on that point, Madam Chair, and
Kevin, thank you.
hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving, and congratulations, Chris.
And
Yes.
we'll see you in 2021, Kevin.
Okay, sounds good.
We're going to give 2020 the boot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll sign out too, and good luck, Chris, on your new position.
Thank you, Gary. And Allison, did you do the roll call vote?
We need to do a vote.
Yeah, we need to do a vote. Okay.
Oh, to go into executive
Yes.
session.
Yes.
Yes, we got to stop.
Just
Okay.
Allison just needs to call it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Allison.
Madam Chair Orr,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nolan,
Yeah.
Secretary Treasurer Palguda,
Yes.
Member Brown.
He's on mute.
Member Brown, I believe you're on mute.
Chairman Brown, yes? Still on mute.
It's that delay of the click.
You're still on mute, Craig. There. Oh,
There we go.
there. Yes or no?
You hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
The connection somehow, because you're all breaking up.
Okay, executive session, right? Yeah,
Yes.
okay. All right.
Okay, Member Best,
It's on mute.
Mike's on mute.
The mic bumped off. Oh, wait, no, he's on.
Yeah, he's on. He's just on
He's
mute.
on, yeah. Mike, you okay?
He's muted.
Mike, we need you to vote on going into executive session.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
thank you. And Member Stump.
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
6 in favor,
And
motion
Daniel
passes.
stays on because he's helping us,
No,
or?
so Daniel's going to jump off
I'm
and
off
stop
as
the
well.
live stream on YouTube. Allison
And
will also
Allison.
jump off, but she's staying in her office. So
Okay.
when we're done, we'll just stay on here. She can come back in and then you can
Okay.
say what your action is and then she can take the roll call.
All right, sounds
Okay.
good. So Allison